Live from the amphitheater at the Curbside Coffee and Cafe in Casa Grande, Arizona, the Great Southwest Radio Theater Project presents an evening of radio drama. We begin with The Hitchhiker, a classic tale written by Lucille Fletcher and first aired over the CBS network by Orson Welles in November of 1941, followed by The Voice of Death, an episode of the very popular Shadows series, which ran for 18 seasons from 1937 all the way to 1954. The Voice of Death relates the tale of a man cursed with a hideous voice who lives as a recluse in the swamps of Louisiana. We bring you our first drama, but first, a word from our sponsors.
Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz. Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz. Refreshing Schlitz, the world's best-selling beer at any price you pay. One of the finest things in life everyone can enjoy today. Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz. Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz.
Yes, the joy of good living. The Pabst Brewing Company invites you to treat yourself to one of the finer things in life. Move up and enjoy Schlitz quality today. Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous.
Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz. Know the real joy of good living. Move up to quality, move up to Schlitz.
And remember, folks, when you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. That a story doesn't have to appeal to the hearts. It can also appeal to the spine. Sometimes you want your heart to be warm, and sometimes you want your spine to tingle. Well, the tingling will be quite audible as you listen to tonight's classic among radio thrillers. Its author is one of the most gifted of all writers who ever worked in this medium, Lucille Fletcher. The title of this terrifying little tale is a spine tingler by the name of The Hitchhiker.
I'm in an auto camp just south of Casa Grande, Arizona. If I tell it, maybe it'll help me. It'll keep me from going crazy. But I must tell this quickly. I'm not crazy now. I feel perfectly well. Perfectly well, except I'm running a slight temperature. My name is Ronald Adams. I'm 56 years of age, married. Short, I drive a 1940 Ford V8, license number 6V7989. I was born in Brooklyn. All this I know. I know I'm at this moment perfectly sane. That it's not me that's gone mad, but something else. Something utterly beyond my control. But I must speak quickly. At any moment, the link with life might break. This may be the last thing I ever tell on Earth. The last night I ever see the stars. 6 days ago, I left Brooklyn to drive to California.
Goodbye, son. Good luck to you, my boy.
Goodbye, Mother. Here, give me a kiss, and then I'll go.
I'll come out with you to the car.
It's raining. Stay here at the door. Hey, what's this, tears?
Oh, it's just this trip, Ronald. I wish you weren't going.
Oh, Mother, there you go again. People do it every day.
I know, but you'll be careful, won't you? Promise promise me you'll be extra careful. Don't fall asleep or drive fast or pick up any strangers on the road.
Strangers? Don't you worry. There isn't anything going to happen. It's just 8 days of perfectly simple driving on smooth, decent, civilized roads with a hot dog or hamburger stand every 10 miles. I was in excellent spirits. Drive ahead, even the loneliness seemed like a lark. But I reckoned without him. Crossing Brooklyn Bridge that morning in the rain, I saw a man leaning against the cables. He seemed to be waiting for a lift. There were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. He was carrying a cheap overnight bag in one hand. He was thin and nondescript with a cap pulled down over his eyes. He stepped off the walk, and if I hadn't swerved, I'd have hit him. I almost did hit him. Now, I would have forgotten him completely, except that just an hour later, while crossing the Pulaski Skyway over the Jersey Flats, I saw him again. At least he looked like the same person. He was standing now with one thumb pointing west. Couldn't figure out how he'd gotten there. I thought maybe one of those fast trucks had picked him up, beaten me to the Skyway, and let him off. I didn't stop for him. Then late that night, I saw him again. It was on the new Pennsylvania Turnpike between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. It's 265 miles long with a very high speed limit. I was just slowing down for one of the tunnels when I saw him standing under an arc light by the side of the road. I could see him quite distinctly. The bag, the cap, even the spots of fresh rain spattered over his shoulders. He hailed me this time. "Hello, hello." I stepped on the gas like a shot. It's lonely country through the Alleghenies, and I had no intention of stopping. Besides, the coincidences or whatever it was gave me the willies. I stopped at the next gas station.
Yes, sir?
Fill her up, will you?
Check your oil?
No, thanks.
Nice night, ain't it?
Yeah, it hasn't been raining here lately, has it?
Not a drop of rain all week.
Oh, no? I suppose that hasn't done your business any harm.
Nah, people drive through here all kinds of weather. Mostly business, though. Ain't many pleasure cars out on the turnpike this season of the year.
I guess not. What about hitchhikers?
Hitchhikers? Here?
Why, what's the matter? Don't you ever see any?
Why, a guy'd be a fool to start out to hitchhike on this road. Look at it.
But you haven't seen anybody?
No, I mean, well, maybe they get a lift before the turnpike starts. I mean, just before the toll road. But then it's a mighty long ride. Most cars wouldn't pick up a guy for that long a ride. This is pretty lonesome country here, mountains and woods. You ain't seen nobody like that, have you?
Oh, no. It's just a technical question.
Oh, I see. Well, that'll be $1.49 with the tax.
The thing gradually passed from my mind as a coincidence. I had a good night's sleep in Pittsburgh. I didn't think about the man all the next day until just outside of Zanesville, Ohio, I saw him again. It was a bright, sunshiny afternoon. Peaceful Ohio fields, brown with the autumn stubble, lay dreaming in the golden light. I was driving slowly, drinking it in, when the road suddenly ended in a detour. And there, in front of the barrier, he was standing. Let me explain about his appearance before I go on. I repeat, there was nothing sinister about him. He was drab as a mud fence. Nor was his attitude menacing. He was merely stood there waiting, almost drooping a little, the cheap overnight bag in his hand. He looks as though he'd been waiting there for hours. And he hailed me. He started to walk forward. "Hello, hello." I'd stopped the car, of course, for the detour. For a few minutes, I couldn't seem to find the new road. I realized that he must be thinking I'd stopped for him.
Hello?
Not just now. No, I'm sorry.
Going to California?
No, not today. I'm going to New York. Sorry. After I got the car back on the road again, I felt like a fool. Yet the thought of picking him up, of having him sit beside me, was somehow unbearable. Yet at the same time, I felt more than ever unspeakably alone. Hour after hour went by. The fields, the towns ticked off one by one. The lights changed. I knew now that I was going to see him again. And though I dreaded the sight, I caught myself searching the side of the road, waiting for him to appear.
Yeah, what is it? What do you want?
You sell sandwiches and pop here, don't you?
Yeah, we do in the daytime, but we're closed up for the night.
I know, but I was wondering if you could possibly let me have a cup of coffee, black coffee.
Not at this time of night, mister. My wife's a cook and she's in bed.
Well, now listen. Just a minute ago, there was a man standing here, right beside here, and he was a suspicious-looking man.
Henry? Who is it, Henry?
Yeah, it's nobody, Mother. It's just a fella thinks he wants a cup of coffee. Go back to bed.
I don't mean to disturb you, but you see, I was driving along and I happened to look, and there he was.
Well, what was he doing?
Well, nothing.
You've been hitting the bottle. That's what's the matter with you. You got nothing better to do than wake decent folk out of their hard-earned sleep. Now get going. Get on.
It looked as though he was going to rob you.
I ain't got nothing in this den to lose. Now on your way before I call out Sheriff Pokes.
I got into the car again and drove on slowly. Beginning to hate the car. If I could have found a place to rest a little, but I was in the Ozark Mountains of Missouri now. The few resort places there were closed. I had seen him at that roadside stand. I knew I'd see him again, maybe at the next turn of the road. I knew that when I saw him next, I'd run him down. But I didn't see him again until late that next afternoon. I'd stopped the car at a sleepy little junction just across the border into Oklahoma to let a train pass by when he appeared across the tracks. He was leaning against a telephone pole. It was a perfectly airless, dry day. The red clay of Oklahoma was baking under the southwestern sun, yet there were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. I couldn't stand that. Without thinking, blindly, I started the car across the tracks. He didn't even look up at me. He was staring at the ground. I stepped on the gas hard, veering the wheels sharply toward him. I could hear the train in the distance now, but I didn't care. Then, something went wrong with the car. It stalled right on the tracks. The train was coming closer. I could hear its bell, its cry, its whistle crying. Still he stood there. Now I knew he was beckoning me to my death. Well, I frustrated him that time. It started, worked at last. I managed to back up, but after the train passed, he was gone, and I was all alone in the hot, dry afternoon. And after that, I knew I had to do something. I didn't know who this man was or what he wanted of me. I only knew that from now on, I mustn't let myself be alone on the road for 1 minute. Hello there, hello. Like a ride?
What do you think? How far are you going?
Amarillo. I'll take you to Amarillo.
Amarillo, Texas?
Yeah, I'll drive you there.
Gee!
Hop in.
You mind if I take off my shoes? My dogs are killing me.
No, go right ahead.
Oh, gee, what a break this is. Swell car and a decent guy driving all the way to Amarillo. All I've been getting so far is trucks.
Hitchhike much?
Sure, only it's tough sometimes in these great open spaces to get the breaks.
Yeah, I think it would be. But I'll bet, though, if you got a good pickup and a fast car, you could get to places faster than, well, say another person in another car.
I don't get you.
Well, take me, for instance. Suppose I'm driving across the country at a nice steady clip of about 45 miles an hour. Couldn't a girl like you, just standing beside the road waiting for lifts, beat me to town after town, provided she got picked up every time in a car that was doing 65 or 75 miles an hour?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe she could, maybe she couldn't. What difference does it make?
Oh, no difference. Just a crazy idea I had sitting here in the car.
Oh, imagine that. Spending your time in a swell car thinking of things like that.
What would you do instead?
What would I do? If I was a good-looking fellow like yourself, I'd just enjoy myself every minute of the time. I'd sit back and relax, and if I saw a good-looking girl alongside... Hey!
Hey, did you see him too?
See who?
That man standing beside the barbed wire fence.
I didn't see nobody.
Right there.
It was nothing, just a barbed wire fence. What do you think he was doing trying to run into that barbed wire fence?
There was a man there, I tell you. A thin, gray man with an overnight bag in his hand. I was trying to run him down.
Run him down? You mean kill him?
I'm trying to get rid of him, or at least prove that he's real. But you say you didn't see him back there? You sure?
I didn't see a soul, and as far as that's concerned...
Well, watch for him. Watch for him the next time, and keep watching. Keep your eyes peeled on the road. He'll turn up again. Maybe any minute now. There, right there.
No! How's this door work? I'm getting out of here.
Did you see him that time? Did you see him?
No, I didn't see him that time, and personally, mister, I don't expect never to see him. All I want to do is go on living, and I don't see how I will very long driving with you.
Look, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please, don't go.
So if you'll excuse me...
Please, you can't go. Listen, how'd you like to go to California? I'll drive you all the way to California.
Seeing pink elephants all the way? No, thanks.
Listen, please, just 1 minute.
You know what I think you need, big boy? Not a girlfriend, just a good dose of sleep. There, I got it now.
No, you can't go.
Leave your hands off of me, do you hear? Leave your hands off me.
Come back here, please. Come back. She ran for me as if I was some kind of monster. A few minutes later, I saw a passing truck pick her up, and I knew then that I was utterly alone. I was in the heart of the great Texas prairies. There wasn't a car on the road after that truck went by. Trying to figure out what to do. How to get a hold of myself. If I could find a place to rest, or even if I could sleep right here in the car, just a few hours. Get some sleep just alongside the road. I was getting my winter overcoat out of the back seat to use as a blanket. Just as a blanket.
Hello.
I saw him coming toward me.
Hello.
Coming toward me, emerging from the herd of moving steer.
Hello.
Oh, I didn't wait for him to come any closer.
Hello.
Maybe I should have spoken to him then, fought it out then and there. And now, he began to be everywhere. Whenever I stopped, even for a minute, for gas, for oil, for a drink of pop, a cup of coffee, a sandwich, he was there. I saw him standing outside the auto camp in Amarillo that night when I dared to slow down. He was standing near the drinking fountain at a little camping spot just outside the border of New Mexico. He was waiting for me outside the Navajo reservation where I stopped to check my tires. I saw him in Albuquerque where I bought 10 gallons of gas. I was afraid now, afraid to stop. I began to drive faster and faster. I was in a lunar landscape now, the great arid mesa country of New Mexico. I drove through it with the indifference of a fly crawling across the face of the moon. And now, he didn't even wait for me to stop. Unless I drove at 85 miles an hour over those endless roads, he waited for me at every other mile. I could see his figure, shadowless, flitting before me, still in the same attitude over the still and lifeless ground, flitting over dried-up rivers, over broken stones cast up by old glacial upheavals, flitting in the pure and cloudless air. Then I headed into Arizona and south. I was beside myself, and I finally reached Casa Grande this morning. There's an auto camp here. It's chilly. Almost deserted. This time of year, I guess that was to be expected. I went inside and asked if there was a telephone. I had the feeling that if I could speak to somebody familiar, somebody that I loved, well, maybe I could pull myself together.
Number, please.
Long distance.
Thank you.
This is long distance.
I'd like to put in a call to my home to Brooklyn, New York. I'm Ronald Adams. The number is Beechwood 9970.
Thank you. Thank you. What is your number?
My number? It's Cactus 312.
Albuquerque? New York from Casa Grande. New York? Casa Grande, Arizona, calling Beechwood 9970.
I'd read somewhere that love could banish demons. It was in the middle of the morning. I knew my mother'd be home. I pictured her tall, white-haired, with her crisp house dress, going about her tasks. It'd be enough, I thought, just to hear that even calmness of her voice.
Will you please deposit $3.85 for the first 3 minutes? When you have deposited $1.50, will you wait until I have collected the money? All right, deposit another $1.50. Will you please now deposit the remaining 85 cents?
Ready, Brooklyn? Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Adams' residence.
Hello, Mother?
This is Mrs. Adams' residence. Who is it you wish to speak to, please?
Who's this?
This is Mrs. Whitney.
Mrs. Whitney? Well, I don't know any Mrs. Whitney. Hey, is this Beechwood 9970?
Yes.
Well, where's my mother? Where's Mrs. Adams?
Mrs. Adams is not at home. She's still in the hospital.
The hospital?
Oh, yes. Who is this calling, please? Is this a member of the family?
What is she in the hospital for?
Oh, she's been prostrated for 5 days. A nervous breakdown. Who is this calling?
Nervous breakdown? My mother doesn't have any...
Oh, it's all taken place since the death of her oldest son, Ronald.
The death of her oldest son, Ronald? Hey, what is this? What number is this?
This is Beechwood 9970. It's all been very sudden. He was killed 6 days ago in an automobile accident on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Sir, your 3 minutes are up. Your 3 minutes are up, sir.
What's up? I'm sitting here in this deserted auto camp near Casa Grande, Arizona, and I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get a hold of myself. Otherwise I'll just go crazy. Outside it's night. The vast, soulless night of the desert. Million stars are in the sky. Ahead of me stretch 1,000 miles of empty mesa, mountains, prairies, desert. Somewhere among them, he is waiting for me. Somewhere. Somewhere, I shall know who he is. And who I am.
You have just heard the Great Southwest Radio Theater Project production of The Hitchhiker, written by Lucille Fletcher. Our cast included Victor McGee as Ronald Adams, Jan Gentner as Mrs. Adams, who also played the Casa Grande operator. Jane Toth was the information operator. The gas station attendant was played by Ken Ferguson. Bill Alwyn was the storekeeper and Suzanne Parrish as his wife. The lady hitchhiker was played by Bonnie Lee, and Gene Colder played Mrs. Whitney. Our Foley sound technician is Wayman Lee. Our GSR intern is Kelly McLaws. And I'm your announcer and the mysterious voice of the hitchhiker. So long, everybody, and sleep tight if you can. The great Southwest Radio Theater is brought to you by Tide, Procter & Gamble's amazing new discovery for your whole family walk.
Tide's in, dirt's out, Tide gets clothes cleaner than any soap. T-I-D-E, Tide.
Even in hardest water, Procter & Gamble's Tide gets all the dirt out of your whole family's wash. Take the drudgery out of laundry every day with T-I-D-E, Tide.
Tide's in, dirt's out, Tide gets clothes cleaner than any soap.
Any soap?
Yes, any soap, Tide gets clothes cleaner than any soap. T-I-D-E, Tide.
Hello, everybody, hello. Hello is a shampoo that glorifies your hair. Say hello, everybody, hello.
Use Halo shampoo if you want naturally bright and beautiful hair. Remember, even finer soaps and soap shampoos hide the natural luster of your hair with dulling soap film. But Halo contains no soaps. The first time you use Halo, your hair glistens with all its natural beauty. The natural color and luster shines like sunshine through a clean window pane. And remember, even in hardest water, Halo makes oceans of rich, fragrant lather. Halo quickly carries away loose dandruff and oils. Use Halo on your children's hair too. Say hello to Halo and goodbye to dulling soap film. Get Halo shampoo at any cosmetic counter. Remember, Halo glorifies your hair.
So hello, everybody, hello. Hello, shampoo, hello.
And now a musical interlude with our great Southwest radio jazz singer Bonnie Lee, who informs me that she uses Halo every day for bright and beautiful hair. Take it away, Bonnie.
Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna set my heart at ease. Gonna make a sentimental journey to renew old memories. Got my bag, got my reservation. Spent each time I could afford. Like a child in wild anticipation. Long to hear that all aboard. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. I'll be waiting up at heaven. Counting every mile of railroad track that takes me back. Never thought my heart could be so yearning. Why did I decide to run? Gotta take that sentimental journey. Sentimental journey home. 7, that's the time we leave at 7. my bag, got my reservation. Spent each time